Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered. Now, this week we're joined by an inventor who's created a knee pain reduction strap. It's Renee. Hi, Renee. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Lee.
Before we get into your invention, I've just got a couple of get to know you questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, the first one is if you could trade lives with a character or a person for a day, who would it be and why?
For some reason, Angelique Jolie jumped up in my head because she's a rebel. She's out there. She's in your face. She will go after whatever she wants. So that's whose name jumped up in my head real quick.
That'd be a really good person. He's very fierce as well, which is nice. The next one is if you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would it be?
Mango.
I love mango as well. That's a nice food. Next one is if you could speak to one species of animal, what species of animal would you like to talk to?
Horses.
Okay, why horses?
Yeah, because they can tell when things are off. Like, they talk about if you can pull up their leg or something like that. If your mind is not in the right place, you can't lift their leg up. So I would love to be able for somebody to tell me, what are you really thinking? You try to pull up that leg and it's not coming. You see inside of me, which I don't sometimes always, you can always tell. So, but the leg of the horse can tell.
And next one is obviously this podcast is on YouTube, so it's online. What's the most craziest or wildest thing you've seen online lately?
Oh, well, I look at some of the gym, like I've been in gyms for almost all my life, and I didn't know those crazy things happen in the gym sometimes. And people they do certain things in the gym, like this guy, he had the rower, and he was trying to pull it out far enough and sit in a chair. Well, dude, that's not gonna work. As soon as he did it, I'm like, do people really do that in a gym?
The last one for this segment, I don't know if you ever have or you're going to plan to write an autobiography, but if you did, what would the title be?
Freedom at last.
Okay, this is because you feel like you found freedom now.
Yeah. I lived in pain for 20 years, and once I found it, it's been glorious. So
moving into that, obviously you've invented an invention, the knee pain reduction strap. What is the story behind that before we get into what that actually is? How did you come up with the idea for this?
Well, it basically started with an ankle injury. I played soccer, had an ankle injury. I didn't know that my ankle healed, at least I thought it did, but it was real stiff, but I didn't know it. I couldn't tell it was stiff. So the stiffness turned into a foot problem. Okay. I didn't know they were related. And then I started to limp. And as soon as I started to limp, I didn't know then that I was throwing my whole body out of balance. And eventually I did a squat, bam, my right knee started to hurt. And then I went to the doctors. They said, exercise, move. And that's what I did, but it made everything worse. So then I ended up with knee pain in the other side. Now I have right and left were both problematic now. I have osteoarthritis in both knees. Lee, I went to one class after 10 years of being in pain, and they said, many times people with knee problems, it comes from their ankle. I fell off my chair. Okay. And that's when I started to explore ankles. And there was one motion called eversion, inversion that it's very difficult to get that when you are trying to get out of pain. And eversion, inversion in your ankles. And what I had to do was develop a strap that did that. And as soon as you do it, you can feel the release in your knee. And so that's how it started. It was basically that one class, starting to really check into a lot of ankle challenges, ankle movements. And eversion, inversion is very difficult, but my strap does it just like that. Get people out of pain.
And when you was in pain and stuff, and obviously you said it happened over like a period of 10 years and stuff, how was that affecting your day-to-day life?
And my knees were always very sore. They were just sore all the time. And I became a personal trainer because they told me that I needed to exercise and the exercises wasn't working. So I became a personal trainer. And think about it, I'm the personal trainer. I'm trying to show you how to get down on the floor, and I can't even get on the floor. I'm trying to show you how to do exercises. I can't even do the exercises. And it really affected me because I was going also to house, and people with stairs, people without stairs. It was awful. because every time I would go up the stairs, they would hurt. I would go down the stairs, they would hurt. And literally, I use personal training was my form of making a living, and I almost had to give it up because I was always in pain. So and also I had a daughter, and I was trying to play with her, and it just always wasn't possible.
Like you said, once you heard that in that class and you thought, oh, you need to invent something, how do you then go about researching next for the ankle, what you need to make, and knowing how it's going to work? What's the process?
Well, you familiar what a yoga strap is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I was doing was I had a yoga strap. I could wrap my foot around this strap and get that motion, inversion motion, but I couldn't teach it. Every time I tried to teach it, nobody could get it. So the first thing I had to do was figure out how can I take this strap, this yoga strap, and turn it into this. So I took it to something called structural engineers. And basically we had to make a plate at the bottom of it, and it broke, and it broke again. It broke like 10 times. So we had to do like 10 different versions to finally get it. So that this, the plate is much smaller, it's wrapped secure, your foot goes in there nice and secure, and then it wraps. But it took about 10 different versions of trying to put this strap together.
And throughout that process, did you ever have a thought, oh, why am I bothering? I'll just give up. Nothing seems to be working. Did that ever cross your mind?
Absolutely not. What this strap does is going to give, like in my country, there's 358 million people with knee osteoarthritis. They need hope. Without the surgery, without the shots, and without the drugs. No way was I going to give up. No way.
Obviously, we would have had a prototype and stuff. How do you then go about testing to ensure that it's doing what it's meant to do?
Well, when people ask me a lot about, about the medical research, the challenge with medical research, what they see when people in the medical industry look at knee problems, they start working at the knee up. They want you to strengthen the leg muscle. They want the muscles to get tight. They want to do all this thing. And I'm sorry, but it just doesn't get the job done. So I can't go to them because they don't see, even when I take my strap to like physical therapists, they like, okay, this is nice. They don't see the possibilities that your ankle is what's going to help people get out of pain, because when Lee, when we have knee problems, we limp. If you're limping, your whole body is being affected. You can't just work on the knee anymore. We have to work on the whole body. So I didn't go to I took it to a couple conferences and I had them try it out, things like that. And they're like, oh, this is great. But that was about the end of it. They just don't see that change yet, but it's coming.
And like you said, it's not like a surgery or a tablet or a procedure. So what harm could it be doing?
That's what I'm saying. What harm to putting this on your ankle and just moving it back and forth and you will feel the difference immediately, because nobody can really stretch that way. It's very difficult. And they would feel it, but it's still like, okay, this is nice,
And do you think because there's not much education or understanding around how helping the ankle could help the knee, that's why like these bigger companies haven't made something like this before?
Yeah. 3 decades. I was told, this is what I was told when I first had my knee problems. They said, first of all, you lose weight. And I was like, I weighed like, I was like, what, 20 pounds overweight. Top of the list, lose weight, strengthen your leg muscles, and keep moving. And that's what I did. I did those things. But only thing ended up happening was I ended up now with 2, in both knees. And it just did not work. And I just didn't keep pursuing that because this doesn't work, And the reason that when I started to go down into the reason that the industry doesn't change is because the doctors are the ones they're not doing any more research. They're doing research on the other end. They trying to get robots to do your knee replacements. I mean, they're doing a lot of stuff on that end, but I'm telling you, what they told me back 3 decades ago, lose weight, strengthen your leg muscles, keep moving, it's the same thing they're telling people now. It hasn't changed, not even a little bit. The same prescription. So unless somebody comes in and tries to shake them up a little bit, it's going to stay that way.
So Is your products now, is it in production? Like, is it available?
Oh, no. I have okay. I have it's now on Amazon. It's on my website and it's also on eBay and it will be on TikTok in probably the next couple weeks. But I've got my shipment in and it's ready to rock and roll and it's patented. I patented. That took about a year and a half. It got patented and it's ready to go. And I've been sending it out to the world for the past 4 months because I didn't get them in until January 2025.
So what's the plan to disrupt the market? Are you looking to hit the health care side of things? Are you looking to hit retail? Are you looking just to promote through social media, like maybe come up with videos, like you said, using TikTok and stuff? What's the plan getting the product out there?
Well, one of the things I'm working on is QVC. I don't know if you have one of those on there.
Yeah.
Okay, QVC. Also, we have something here called Good Morning America. And there's a lady on there named Troy Johnson. That's what she does, called Deals and Wheels or something like that, where she
Yeah,
brings
I've seen clips of that on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are the type of people I'm going after. I want to go after something big. I'm not going after, I help individuals, but I need to have something, these influencers, to really put this out there for people to see and just to give them hope. And something you just said earlier, it can't hurt them.
No.
It can't hurt them. It can only enhance them. So it's like I said, it's not surgery or a shot or a pill. It's just a strap. Just that simple. So
No,
that's how I'm
100%.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to get to your product or anything like that, we'll have the links in the description below as well, so people can get there quicker.
There is something on my website that says for international because Amazon right now won't ship to international, but my website will. So if they can't, if they keep scrolling down, they'll find that says international and they'll be able to order it. Absolutely.
So you said Amazon won't let you ship internationally at the moment. So you do for your website. What benefits do you think your strap could bring internationally?
Oh, wow. Now, I do a lot of research around the world, and I stumbled across something from the National Health Service, and they mentioned that there was 800,000 people on waiting lists waiting for a knee replacement. And I think the thing about that people may not understand is while they're waiting on these waiting lists, they're still walking, they're still exercising, and they're causing more problems to their hips and into their backs. Many people that have the knee problems, they have hip problems and back problems. What I would like to do is bring my strap to the UK, bring it to the UK to these people that are on these waiting lists. It can at least start to take some tension off the knees and off the hips. So they still may need that surgery, but at least they'll be in better condition before they get there. And I mean, I'm just talking about taking this strap and you just putting it around your ankles and you just pull on the strap and it will help with eversion of those ankles, get that tension off the knees and off the hips while they're on those waiting lists. It's just, I would just be so excited and thrilled for people on those lists to be able to help them.
And another question as well, like I said, to do with my wife. So she's got no feeling in the left side of her body, which means she walks funny because she doesn't know how much weight bearing she's putting on both feet. She's started recently to get a knee problem. You can see a little like indentation in her knee, and she's saying her knee's hurting her a lot more. Would your strap still be able to help someone who can't feel around their ankle when they're doing the exercise and stuff?
Well, they would just have to be careful because this would automatically, my strap automatically like kind of forces you to use your ankles. However, she has to pull. And so she just can't pull really hard because I don't want her to strain her ankles, but she just have to be, if she can just do it very lightly, it can put more blood flow down there. It can put more, the lymphatic system can work better and it can be better for her overall. So she would just have to do it very gently and it would work pretty well for her.
Is this the only sort of product you've got in mind, or once this takes off, would you be looking to incorporate other things into the range?
Yes, one thing that I know for sure, people like me, we can't do all kinds of exercises anymore. I have osteoarthritis in both knees. All my clients have meniscus tears, bone on bone. They have ACL tears, and they can't do every exercise. So I have an arsenal of about 100 exercises that once people start to learn how to use the strap, I will start to introduce them to these exercises that you can do, so you won't keep hurting your knee. I mean, they're cardio, they're balance moves, they're boxing moves, you know, there are coordination moves, there are reflex moves. You won't miss out on anything. You just got to do things a little bit differently than anybody else. We can't do everything like everybody else anymore. We're going to keep hurting our knees. So my particular programs help you to exercise efficiently, effectively, and safely. And you can be out of pain for years, because I've been out of pain since 2014. And my clients have been out of pain 3 and 4 years. It's not getting in pain, out of pain, getting in pain, out of pain. You get out of pain and you're done. You just got to do your maintenance for the rest of your life.
Well, no, that's brilliant, and I really wish you good luck with the product, and hopefully you can come on in 6 months' time or whatever, and we can see how much further down the journey you are. Before we wrap up, I've got a couple of would you rather questions, if you're okay to answer them. So these are just some cards out of a game we got at Christmas. There's like 3 here. I've mixed them up. I don't know what's coming out. So the first one is, would you rather have everything smell bad forever, or have roller skates for feet?
Roller skates for feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, roller skates for feet, I guess.
I don't know. Would your straps be able to help with the fit on the knees?
Well, my strap will fit around roller skates.
Yeah. No, that's good. It means it's versatile. Next two is, would you rather have toes for fingers, or feel like you are sitting on pins every time you sit down?
Toes for fingers.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not a problem. Sorry, these are just very random. Last two are, would you rather get bitten by a dog every time you go outside, or fight off 20 duck-sized unicorns every time you go to the restroom?
Yeah, I would do the unicorns because they don't exist, so I can take that one.
If they did exist, the only problem is that when we're getting older, we have to pee a lot more in the night, so a lot more toilet trips. Well, Renee, as I said, it's been a fascinating conversation, and I've really enjoyed it. And please, let's stay connected, and I'd love to see your journey progress. But I've got one last question to ask you, and this question I ask every guest. If you could be remembered for one word, and one word only, what would it be and why?
Your independence.
Nice.
Independence. When we have pain, or even when we don't, we want to go into our lives being independent and staying independent until the day we cannot no longer live on this earth, because I always want to be able to take care of myself, and I want to be independent for the rest of my life. And I wish everybody independence.
Well, that's a fantastic answer and a fantastic way to end. Thank you again so much for your time.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Lee.